Good morning, everyone. Hello, it's Kay Kaltoff, and we're doing a Stampin' Chat today. A Stampin' Chat with Kay today. So it's great to be here. Thank you for joining in. We are going to work with 3 different celebration items. One is the lovely lily pad stamp set that you can get with a $50 spend. The Lily Impressions Designer Series paper, which is also available for a $50 spend. And the lily pad dies available for a $100 spend. And I will tell you that quite a few of my customers fell in love, just like I did, with the lily pad product suite that's in the Celebration catalog. And so I held off a little bit showing this. I could have shown it right away, but I chose to wait a bit. I didn't want people to feel like they had to spend, $200 at one swoop to get it all at once. And now I feel fairly confident that most of my customers that wanted the lovely lily pad have it, and they're ready to start using it, and a lot of them already have the designer series paper. Maybe you're just saving up for the dies, and you can do that, all the way through the end of March. You have until the end of March to get your celebration items. So good morning. Yes, it is great to be here. I am in Minnesota, for those of you that didn't know, and I'm excited to see my husband today. He has been out of town. He went to Ireland for a week for work, and so I've been able to use his mug most of the week. We usually fight over this particular one, and it's not even a caribou one. Can you believe it? Crazy, I know. But it's one that the kids picked up at a thrift store, and it's just the perfect size for our little espresso maker. All right. Hello, everybody. Good to have you here. Welcome. Oh, you're already sharing. How wonderful. Our share today, well, of course, probably on Tuesday, I'll give away both of the cards that we make today, along with a yard of each of the 2 ribbons that we're using in our card today. So we are going to be using reversible ribbon. This is the Pretty Peacock / Old Olive reversible. And we're layering it with a 1/8 inch strip or 1/8 inch grosgrain ribbon of the lovely lipstick. So I'm excited. Good morning. Hello. Thank you for sharing. It really, really makes a difference to me. Especially now, since Facebook is not letting me promote my posts for some reason. I'm not quite sure why, but I haven't been able to do it since about December. So when you share, it's the only way that I can kind of get out there, since I can't actually have Facebook do that for me anymore. So welcome. Let's see, I have an unboxing to do today. So I got my paper pumpkin in the mail. I think it was a little over a week ago. Of course, I have been really busy prepping for Spring Fling that we're having here in Minnesota. So I took the cello off, but I haven't actually opened it up. So I'll do that today on this Facebook Live. And I want to share a card I got. Look at how pretty it is. It is from my customer, Heidi Forbes, and she sent me this thank you card and a sweet little note on the inside. She has been a long time Paper Pumpkin subscriber of mine, so it was really neat that she mailed this card to me just as I'm about to do a Paper Pumpkin unboxing here for you, so you can see the latest kit. So I do appreciate Heidi, and she has also encouraged one of her friends to be a Paper Pumpkin subscriber. So it's really, really fun to see everybody getting excited about Paper Pumpkin. And there's even more reason to get excited about Paper Pumpkin, because next month Stampin' Up! Is celebrating 7 years with Paper Pumpkin, and that means as a little gift to us, we get an extra free stamp set. So woohoo! So we get the 1 stamp set that comes with every Paper Pumpkin, and then an extra one to celebrate 7 years with Stampin' Up! As far as Paper Pumpkin subscribers. So really, really a great thing. All right, and I think I am ready to roll here. I'm going to flip the camera down and we'll get started recreating this beautiful, there it is, beautiful card. All right, so give me a second here to get set up. So here is the Paper Pumpkin kit. It looks so fun. So this is kind of how Stampin' Up! Packages them. Usually the first thing that you'll see on top when you open it up is the information about the kit. You see a bunch of card ideas, and this is a Celebrate coordination kit, so it means it coordinates with some of our celebration items, particularly the Happy Birthday to You stamp set. So as you can see, here is the free stamp set that we get, and look at how big this is. This is like a $20 stamp set. I'm not even kidding you. If we were to have this in our regular catalog, this is big and huge. And so not everyone is this big, and every once in a while one's even bigger. But it's a pretty common size that you get with your paper pumpkin kit. So you get this really gorgeous flower. You get a set of cake, you get, or rather a cake slice that will go great with your Happy Birthday stamp set. And then you get a whole bunch of words. Of course, I can't really see this because, oh, here we go. I had it on the wrong side. So we've got wishes, you're a great reason to celebrate. And then we have birthday here. Have a lovely birthday. You have a congratulations sign. And then, of course, the gorgeous flower, which does coordinate with the Happy Birthday to You stamp set. And then you also get a little ink pad. So this is Rococo Rose. It's a little Stampin' Spot. I always collect these because this is what I take with me when I'm traveling. And then we'll go ahead and we'll open this up all the way here. So they package it in cellophane. Or not, this isn't cellophane. What the heck is this called? I can't remember. I don't know what this is called. You use it when you are wrapping birthday presents, though, and you're putting it in a bag. Oh, tissue paper. Duh. All right, so here's the paper pumpkin kit. All of your card making instruction, or all of your card making supplies here, including a sheet of dimensionals. So let's just open this up and look at it, because Paper Pumpkin has come a long ways from when they started out 7 years ago. So let me just open this up. So as you can see, this is why it's so much fun to do these. Let's just look at how cool this is. So you get little sequins. Oh my gosh, they're adorable and pink and sparkly. I love them. You get a full pack of dimensionals, and they're really nice and soft ones. They feel exactly like the dimensionals we get when we purchase dimensionals from Stampin' Up. And then we have our little elements that we can put directly on the cards, and we could just color these and they're ready to go. They're already stamped and everything. We have the coordinating stamp, but there are some elements ready to go on cards. So here's more elements for your cards and more. So lots and lots of elements. We also have envelopes, and these are really cool. They're the standard size medium envelope, but they're in a different shape. So they actually close from the side like this, or the top. But you could mail these, so that's really nice. And we have them all in the coordinating colors, and then they have a decorated inside flap. I love that. Oh, so we have four different colors of envelopes. Oh my gosh, this must make 12 cards. And this is actually even a little different. Oh, this might actually be a card. I don't know. I haven't sat down to look at the directions yet. Oh, wow. And is this ever pretty? These are foil. These are little foil pieces that you can peel off and put onto your card. And it looks like they have they're put on dimensional. So they'll actually be raised on your card with a little dimensional lift that's already built into them. So that's pretty incredible. And then, of course, you have all of your card bases here. So we'll find out. Oh, and banners. Wow, this is a huge kit, as well as mini glue dots. So let's see how many cards there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I think these are 7, 8, 9. So it must be 9 cards. But, of course, you don't have to follow the directions exactly. You can recreate and create tags and all kinds of good things. So this is a pretty amazing kit. Well worth the money. Just the stamp set alone would be worth the money of getting the Paper Pumpkin kit. But then you get all of these ready to go to start making things. Really, it's the best deal out there, you guys. So if you haven't tried Paper Pumpkin yet, give it a chance in March, or if you have tried it and want to come back, March is a great month to come back, because now through March 10th, when you sign up for Paper Pumpkin, you will be able to get the March kit that will include that extra stamp set. So this is just a little preview of what you can expect from a typical Paper Pumpkin kit. And I believe in the March kit, it's 12 cards. I think I read that somewhere. So, all right, so we covered all of that. Now let's go ahead and look at this card that we're making today. And here it is. It's so fabulous. And I just love it, and I cannot wait to share with you. So I have 4 created that use 4 of the Designer Series papers that come with the Lily Impressions Designer Series paper pack. So rather than even show you the paper pack, I'll just show you the cards I made. So we've got this one, and this one, and then we have this one, and this one. So all of these look fantastic, and these are just 4 of the Designer Series papers that you get with the Lily Impressions Designer Series paper pack. The inside I left very plain. I just put a strip here because this Granny Apple Green is light enough that you can write directly on it. And I want to show you, I was experimenting a little bit with these. So this particular one does not have stitching on the outer edges, but if you don't care to cut as exactly as we're going to cut in this video, you can use this. These are the stitched rectangle dies, and if you take the very largest stitched rectangle die and put it over a piece of pretty peacock paper and run it through your die cutting machine, you will get stitching on the outside edge. But because this is a card we're going to actually be making at Spring Fling coming up, I decided I didn't want to run this through the die cutting machine twice, because once would have to be with the stitching and cutting it out, and the second time would have to be for the embossing, and that was asking a little too much of my helpers. So we decided not to do the stitching and using the die, but for those of you that are only making a few of these, that's a great idea. We are actually making like 300, so that actually doesn't work so well. So what I did is I just cut this out, and I believe it is 3 3/4 inches by, let's see, 5 1/8 inch. And what I like about it is it gives a nice border at the bottom and at the top to really let the Granny Apple Green show through, because that really picks up the Granny Apple Green that is on this lily pad cutout that we used with the dies. Lynn's telling me she loves the stitching because it adds that little extra. I totally agree, and if I wasn't doing 300 of these, I would totally do the cutout with this. However, prepping for Spring Fling and for all the people, we had to keep it a little bit more simple. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with this gorgeous card. The first thing that you're going to need is a Granny Apple card base, 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored at 5 1/2. And it's so simple, you guys. It's basically 8 1/2 by 11 sheet of paper, scored at 5 1/2, cut it in half again, and you've got 2 card bases ready to go. So let's just go ahead, and I will use a bone folder here to get this creased so it will lie flat for us. How can you not live, or how can you live without a bone folder? I don't know. I use it every single time I make cards. All right, and then let's go ahead and get the next section on, which is what I was telling you about. So this is, you can either choose to cut this out. This is the, look at how awesome this looks against the Granny Apple Green. Love it. But this can be cut out with that stitch shape rectangular framelit. However, I did not. That's why I have the measurements on here. So 3 3/4 by 5 1/8. Then you're going to run it through your embossing machine with the Subtles embossing folder. I don't know what it is about this embossing folder, but it is one of my go-to embossing folders. I'm going to try and hold this up to the camera close enough so that you guys can see just how amazing this looks. Look at that. Maybe you just can't see it, but it adds subtle texture in your card, and it's fantastic. Then what you're going to do is you're going to do your ribbon layering, because these ribbons are beautiful and they pick up all of those wonderful colors in the designer series paper. So I have this one, and it doesn't even matter which side you use. So there's the kind of the peacock side and then the old olive side. I'm going to just stick to the old olive side, but both sides look nice. And let me grab my scissors. So what I'm doing is I'm just cutting this a little bit wider here than my peacock paper. So doing the same thing with this one, and then we're just going to layer that up with Scotch tape. So let me grab my Scotch tape here. And we'll do the peacock one first, or the reversible ribbon first, I should say. It's Pretty Peacock and Old Olive. And I don't know how high you're going up, maybe about, I don't know, is it about an inch? Kind of. Maybe 3/4 of an inch. All right, so there we go. So we have this layered up, and then we're going to take the next one. Oh, there's a little crease in here, but it's not going to matter because that's going to get covered up. So we're going to take the next little one, and this is Lovely Lipstick. So just going to layer that over the top and tape it down as well. You know, one thing I forgot to mention, for those of you that are interested in getting all of these celebration items, when you get a Paper Pumpkin prepaid subscription, if you ordered a year-long subscription with Paper Pumpkin, you would get enough celebration item freebies to recreate this card with the celebration items. So you would be able to get your lovely lily pad stamp set, you would be able to get the dies that go with it, and you would even be able to get the paper. So something to consider if you're thinking about subscribing to Paper Pumpkin, because during celebration, when you get a Paper Pumpkin subscription, you can actually get celebration items with that subscription. Pretty cool. And then I did one in advance here, so I have this one layered up so I wouldn't have to take the time to do it on the Facebook Live. So I'm going to use multi-purpose liquid glue to put this down. I'm just going to flip it over, and we'll put a line of glue all the way around. We'll do it on both. Oops, I almost put it on the front. Yikes. All right, we're going to do a line of glue on the back side, all the way around. All right, now we're just going to center this in. Make sure the ribbon goes towards the bottom. And what you're trying to do is make sure that the top and the bottom are about even. And then, of course, the right and the left. That looks good. I always try to do a really good job with these cards because these are the ones I mail out. So thank you so much for commenting, letting me know where you're watching from, sharing with your friends on your timeline, or in a group with some other Stampin' Up! People, or maybe some crafty friends that maybe haven't discovered stamping yet. I really appreciate that. And then to everybody watching on YouTube in probably a week or so, welcome and thank you so much for tuning in. All right, so here we go. We've got the base of our card ready. It's all glued down, looks great. Then we're going to get some stamping done. So we have a scrap of Whisper White, and I'm going to bring in a stamp set here that's called Label Me Bold. This is in our January through June 2020 mini catalog, which is current right now. They say January through June, but it really only goes through like June 3rd or something, because then the annual catalog comes, but they're calling it January through June. All right, and then we have several different options for this Label Me Bold stamp set. We have congratulations, well done, for you, from me, hello, thank you, happy birthday. we're going to go with Happy Birthday. So let me grab the little Happy Birthday, and then I have Lovely Lipstick. Lovely Lipstick is one of my favorite colors from the 2018-2020 in colors, and we're only going to be able to get this for a very short amount of time. So if you have the ink pad, be sure you get your re-inker before Stampin' Up! Announces that they're gone or that they're on the retirement list, because then they go very fast. So we're inking this up, and we're just putting this on our little scrap paper. And then we are going to set this aside to dry just a minute, because we're going to cut that out. Then we also have a scrap of Whisper White that we're going to stamp our flowers on. So let me also grab a Stampin' mat. And the reason I want to use a Stampin' mat is because, let me show you the stamp set here. Do I have it? Yes. The lovely Lily Pad stamp set is a photopolymer stamp set. The other unique thing about the stamp set is that it is reversible. So you can use this image, you can flip it over onto your block, which we are going to do today, and use the reverse side. And I'll give you some tips for that too. All right, so we've got our little scrap of Whisper White, and we are going to use the side of the stamp that has all the lines in the flowers. So we are going to take our lovely lipstick ink pad. We're going to ink that up, and we're using the Stampin' mat because there's no cushion on photopolymer, so you want just a little bit of cushion when you're pushing down to get a really beautiful image just like that. Do the same thing over here. And we have our two flowers for our two cards. So now we're going to use the reversible side. So I'm going to move this out of the way for a minute. And I'm going to grab my handy dandy chamois, which I've cut in half, and then I store it in my, it's a half mount wood case. Actually, I actually took two chamois, and I have one of these that I travel with and one that I keep at home, so it holds 3. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean this off. And then the mistake that I've been seeing some of my customers make is they're telling me that, well, once I have used it and clean it off, when I flip it over, it's not sticking to the block. Well, there's a reason for that. It's because your block is a little bit wet. Hold on. I just noticed I did not clean this very properly. Let me grab the little chamois and just get in here. There, because we want that really nice and there we go. So it's all cleaned up. The ink is completely off. But the block is a little bit damp from just having cleaned it with our chamois. So what I do when I'm using reversible stamps is after I've cleaned the stamps, I peel it away, and then I flip the block over, so I'm using the side that has not touched the chamois. I put it down. And then I just press it on, and it's great. It's ready to go now for me to do the next part of my stamping. So here we go. We're going to take this, and we're going to use some Flirty Flamingo. We're going to stamp Flirty Flamingo right over the top with the back. Now this is not going to line up perfectly, so, and I don't really care that it does. So I'm just going to stamp it here, just kind of over the top. Just give it a little bit of color. Now, of course, this looks really dark. It'll lighten it up as it dries. But again, just ink this up, and don't worry about getting it perfect. Just stamp this in here so you've got some color over the top. Ta-da! And then what we're going to do is we're going to take another one of the flowers, and this is a small one, and I've already put it so that the shadow side is to the top. Then we're going to take Mango Melody, and we're going to stamp over the top of what we just did, just to give it a little highlight. So I'm going to set that right there. And then we're going to do the same thing over here, just to give it a little highlight. Now, I want to show you the difference of what this looks like once it has dried, because right now it looks pretty intense, pretty deep, but once you've given this a chance to dry, it will look like this. See the difference? So these two I did, I don't know, probably an hour ago, and then I cut it out with my die cutting machine with the die that comes with the lovely Lily dies, which looks like this. Now, just to let you know, the flower is pretty simple. So when we do our big spring fling event, we will not be we will not be die cutting all of this for those of you that are in attendance, or even for those of you that are going to get my pack by mail, which I have not announced yet. So don't be wondering about that, but I will announce that to everybody that's in my newsletter. So let's see, is it this one? Yes. It is this one. This is one that I cut by hand, and it was very simple and quick, and you really literally cannot tell the difference between one that is cut by hand and one that is die cut. However, we are die cutting in advance the lily pads because they're easy and you can just put them on your card and it works out great. So I will show you how I did that. So I just took a piece of Granny Apple Green scrap paper, and I folded it in half and cut out 2 lily pads at one time. See? So this is the scrap that I grabbed out of my scrap drawer. And these are pretty sharp dies. So I just folded this scrap in half and ran it through my die cutting machine and was able to get 2 little lily pads. So very quick and easy. All right, so what would be the next step? Well, there's a whole bunch of layers we have to layer up. So let me grab all those layers and I'll give you the measurements here for that. So the first thing is this. We have our Granny Apple Green, or not Granny Apple Green, lovely lipstick paper. And this is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So that's the base of everything that gets layered up. 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. The next layer will be 1/8 inch smaller, and so that will be 3 1/8 by 4 1/8, because we're just going to go for a skinny little line. And whenever you're doing skinny little lines, the best way to do it is with glue. Hold on, I got a little glue blob here. There we go. So the best way to do it is with glue, because then you can put it down and you can just kind of shift that into place so that all of your skinny little lines are as even as can be. So we're going to do the same thing over here. I'll put glue on the back of this. And there we go. Beautiful. The next layer is going to be our designer series paper. So I have cut that into a 3 by 4 inch panel, and these panels, if you wanted to make a lot of cards, you will get 12 panels out of one sheet of designer series paper. So again, that's 3 by 4. So again, it's going to be a skinny little layer. So again, I'm going to use glue because it's just so easy here on this card. So we're going to set that in. And again, it's just a skinny little layer all the way around. And again, with the glue, you can wiggle it. So there's one, and then here's the other one. And these are the 2 papers I hadn't used that I hadn't showed you yet. So I'm excited to share these with you so you can see all 6 paper designs and how wonderful it goes into this one card design. There we go. All right, so then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take matching designer series paper, and we're going to go 3/4 by 4 inches, and we're going to glue this into the inside panel of our card base. So I'm going to grab the card bases here, and we'll just glue that in. Easy peasy. I probably should have done that in advance, but I didn't. Just put this in here. So that means this one, which matches this, goes with this card, and this one is going to go with this card. I'll set that in. It looks so pretty. Thank you all of you who are sharing. I really appreciate it. Oh, my wonderful downline members at Physical Therapy. So she's telling me she's going to watch the replay. Yay. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add our happy birthday at the top here. So remember we had stamped these 2 birthday pieces. Well, we're going to freehand cut these. I'm just going to do one. I have one of them pre-cut. So you're just going to come in here with your scissors and you're going to cut like that. So it's good to use up all those little strips of Whisper White that you might have laying around. And so I'm cutting, well, I didn't quite cut close enough, but there we go. So we're cutting on each end first. Then the main thing with cutting in a straight line is don't look where you're cutting. Look at your goal. Look at the end where you want to get to. So when you're cutting a straight line, do not look right where you're cutting. Look at the end point. So I am going to cut, and I'm not looking where I'm cutting. I'm only staring at the end. And look at that. You get a beautifully perfect straight line. So we're going to do the same thing over here. Again, don't look where you cut. Just look at your end goal. So there we go. Perfect. And then I do have one ready to go that I did in advance. And to get these onto our card, we're going to use a little silicone craft sheet from Stampin' Up. We're going to flip them over, and we're just going to use a little snail on the back. Whoops, I'll open this up. And then we're just going to set them in the upper left side of the card, just like this. We'll do the same thing for this one. It's so pretty. And now we're ready to put our lily pads on. So again, I'm just going to use some glue. So I'm going to take my glue. Going to set this here, right here. And I'm probably looking to do about the same on the right as I am on the bottom. So I'll do the same thing for this lily pad. And I just cut these with, you know, just cut them straight out of my scrap paper. Now there is a stamp that matches this, so you could stamp, you know, some rings on here, but I'm just keeping it simple. So there we go. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take those cutouts that I prepared in advance. We're going to flip them over and we're going to add some dimensionals. So I'm just going to grab my dimensional sheet here. And these are the big dimensionals. We have 2 sizes. The minis are great for those little skinny things that you need to work with, and then these are great for your bigger spaces. So I'm just going to throw 3 of these on, and then I can look at your comments too. So you like the cutting tip. Great, I'm glad. It's true in life too. When you have a goal, sometimes if we overanalyze things, when we look at each little step along the way and we just get so caught up that we forget the big picture. So it's a good idea, even in real life, to keep an eye on the end game. All right, so here's our next little set of peelies we're taking off. And we're going to put this right here. Oh, this turned out so beautiful. And you know, I really actually kind of like the fact that this isn't stamped perfectly. I love the little tips of white. It just draws so much interest to the card. All right, then we're going to flip it over and add more dimensionals. So we're going to put 1 in each corner, and that's a good time for me to look at your comments. Marty's telling me she's going to watch the replay of what she missed. Yay! Thanks for being here, Marty. It's great to see you. And Terry is telling me she's in New Milford. What state is that, Terry? I'm curious. Jean is watching from Phoenix. Welcome. We have another person from Arizona. Donna's on here. Great. Good to see you all. You know what? I think I'm going to add 1 more little dimensional here to the middle. Oh, I did that one already. Good. Oh, Terry's telling me that New Milford is in Connecticut. You know, I think I'm going to Connecticut this spring. I have a nephew that's graduating from high school, so I might take my dad out there so he can go to the graduation too, because he is not able to travel by himself. All right, so we're gonna get this on the card. So we're just hoovering it over the top, and I am trying to match up these sides here so that, you know, the top, the right, and the bottom are all pretty much even. Mostly I'm looking at the right and the bottom. We'll set this in. It looks good. Press that down. So gorgeous. Then we're going to do the same thing for this other one. I'm trying to do a really good job because this goes to my winners. And that looks great. So here are the 2 cards that we made today, and I think they turned out just stellar. So thank you everybody so much for joining you. I'm heading off to the airport pretty soon here to pick up my hubby. And then we're going to be celebrating my daughter's birthday, and we've got a big weekend planned. My future son-in-law, they won their big basketball game on Wednesday night, and so on Saturday we're going to go cheer them on at the championship. So really exciting days here. We've got a great weekend planned. So I hope all of you have a great weekend planned too. And we'll see you. Oh, and you know what? Before I totally quit, I have to show you all these cards all together. So let me line them up, and then I'll let you go. So I think I can do this. I've got 6 cards I want to show to you, all in the different patterns of Designer Series paper that come from the Lily Impressions Designer Series paper pack. Here's the final. Oh, aren't they beautiful? I could just look at these all day. They just make me so happy to look at them. All right, you guys have a great weekend. I truly appreciate you and really love that you all join me on these Facebook Lives. Have a great day. Bye-bye.